July 14th. What have you got for us? Big Daddy Saturn is retrograde. Neptune is retrograde. The Mercury retrograde pre-shadow is here. And Pluto is retrograde. So let's see. Okay, the overnight aspect, pretty empty until 4:27 a.m. Okay, so we finish off tonight, the 13th. We finish that off. Let me open that up. Bit of stress, okay? Bit of stress around like things that you used to consider as part of like being in a family, right? So July 14th, 4:27 a.m. positive aspect with the childhood wound, right? So the moon is in Aquarius, wanting us to be kind of social, but also helping us be a little bit weird, right? And so that's making a positive aspect with the childhood wound, helping us bring the weird out, right? Which that's kind of what today was about, the 13th. And so 5:33 a.m. Look, something your family fucking taught you about your weirdness, like about not showing it, like, and that doesn't mean they taught it to you on purpose, but like through their behavior when you were being your kind of weird self, right? You got to let it go, right? That's what that aspect is saying. And at some point the moon's going void there, okay? So the moon's going void, and then it moves into Pisces, and I fucking hate a Pisces moon. Because a Pisces moon is always feelings, right? Because Pisces is the end of the moon cycle. Once it gets to Pisces, it's been through all 12 zodiacs, and Pisces wants to integrate the lessons you've learned through all 12 zodiacs, right? So this is that monthly energy of the Pisces moon coming in and helping us kind of integrate what it is that we've learned. So the first aspect that the Pisces moon makes when we go into it is a square to Uranus in Gemini, very newly in Gemini. And so this is the moon in Pisces having all of the feelings, wanting you to sit, wanting you to understand the feelings, wanting you to feel the feelings, right? Very kind of slow, bottom of the ocean, deep, dark bottom of the ocean kind of feelings. Let's just sit and let the water rush over us, right? And Uranus in Gemini is like, you want me to fucking what? Sit still? Sit still? No. So this is a push-pull kind of battle, 10:15 a.m. on the 14th, between like having all of the feelings and wanting to move forward, wanting to change something, but being weighed down by all of the feelings, okay? Now, then we get some positive aspects with Saturn and Neptune and Pluto, who are all retrograde. So at 1:11 p.m. Melbourne time, the first of those aspects comes with Saturn. So the moon in Pisces meets up with Saturn, then it meets up with Neptune, then it meets up in Pluto, and all three of those are retrograde. So we're in kind of revision mode, right? So this is the story of what we are integrating with the Pisces moon, what we are allowing the information of to kind of go out through our whole entire being and body, is what we've kind of discovered at least over the last couple of weeks. But mostly these are shifts that we have been going through. You know, our inner belief and discipline shift since the end of May. Our inner holding on to like past traumas, ancestral, generational traumas, right? Since the end of March, where we were released from it and we're carrying that sort of ghost around with us, right? So that's affecting the inner belief system and the discipline. And then the other one is Pluto, which is asking us to revise what we kind of put in place about trying to find our authentic self, what we put in place from November last year, right? So we're in this revision period for all of those things. So these aspects are helping us with that, right? So the moon in Pisces is trying to integrate the lessons that we've learned over the past few months. So with Saturn, your inner discipline and your beliefs that you kind of shifted since the end of May. With Neptune, this idea of like being released from your traumatic, ancestral and generational kind of trauma and emotional triggers, but you're still carrying the ghost. And then the other one is the integration and understanding of, you know, things that you've kind of kept in the shadow in the subconscious space, okay? So at 10:47 p.m, a little bit of stress because the sun is in Cancer, right? So a lot of the stuff that's been coming up is family, home, safety within the home. And the moon in Pisces is kind of integrating, right? So we did have that Cancer new moon, and that was loud, emotional flood. So we're kind of integrating the lessons that we've learned about our family, about the generational traumas, about how our belief system has been impacted by these past beliefs that we got while we were also getting a childhood wound, right? And so this bit of stress around 10:47 p.m., it's kind of like what happens when you try and integrate those things, right? Like your inner belief system of family tries to kind of fight back a little bit, and you get a little bit of anxiety because you're actually having to like really think about some of the shit you had to deal with growing up, right? So then 11:45 p.m., like in that 10:47 in the evening, that's probably the worst one in the evening, right? In the morning, we get the square to Uranus, which will be frustrating as fuck at 10:15. But all of the rest of the aspects, pretty good, right? So 11:45 p.m., Moon trines Jupiter. This is going to be watery, right? This could be emotional. This is like very creative kind of energy. And it's sort of giving you a moment after you've integrated all of the bullshit, right? After you've, maybe some of you cried out the feelings, right? But after you felt the feelings that you needed to feel while you're kind of going back through that revision period, it's this very creative, very flowy, very relaxed, kind of calm energy, right? Where Cancer and Pisces are kind of working together. So Cancer, the water sign of like feeling big emotions and family and safety and mother, and Pisces, that kind of deep, dark bottom of the ocean, integration of wounds, right? Working together, allowing, you know, that Cancer, Jupiter, kind of bringing light and like really kind of nurturing that kind of moon in Pisces energy that's just, it's trying to like get you to feel things, right? So it's like the nurturing for the feelings that you've been having. So it ends quite good, starts quite good, but as always, because we're bringing up childhood wound stuff, there could be a lot of feelings around. Also Pisces moon, always a lot of feelings around. So we've got like a lot of water energy. And so when we have these fire aspects come in, like Saturn and Neptune, both in Aries, there's going to be a little bit of turbulence, okay? And they don't really like each other. So yeah, a bit of an up and down day, but all in all, pretty good. Stay weird.